and welcome back to Walk, Run, Soar. This is day 18, part 2. This is number 24 in the book, Loving Your Neighbor on the Trail. All right, our verse is, or there's a couple of verses, Matthew chapter 22, verses 37 and 39. Jesus replied, "You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. A second is equally important, love your neighbor as yourself." I appreciate how she starts this devotion because she talks about how the cooler weather makes her feel like she has wings. We're actually, we're starting to move into spring and, eventually summer. But I do know how awesome it does feel once you've been through summer and you have that first fall day, and it's just absolutely amazing feeling. Because I know, you obviously run a little bit slower when it's hot, and then you get into fall and you're like, man, I can run real fast. Not fast being a relative term. But she was running on a particular trail, and she was noticing all the people that she was passing of, different sizes, shapes, ages, and, thinking about what their stories might have been. And she always loves to see how many people that she can say hi, good morning, whatever, how many people she can do that with. And so relating that back to our story, Jesus is being challenged by a Pharisee when he said the verses that I already read. They were asking him what the greatest commandment was. And he told him to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. In his response, Jesus groups these two fundamental commandments together and highlights how they are interconnected. The more we love God, the more we are compelled to love our neighbors. And the more we love our neighbors, the more we are driven to love God. One hinges upon the other. This is Old Testament wisdom meeting New Testament application. Jesus exemplified a balance between loving God and allowing that deep love to flow out as we love others. And she, puts in a little tidbit about how, especially today in our, day and age, if you want to say it that way, that we're constantly glued to screens, TV screens, phone screens, tablet screens, laptop screens, even out in public. And you see this a lot. I noticed a lot when I was traveling, and I'm guilty of it too, because sometimes it's just easier to enter your own world instead of engaging, especially a stranger, because they can be like really awkward. But we see that a lot nowadays. But is that really what God is calling us to do when we're out with others? She says, "We are in this race called life together. Sometimes a simple wave or smile, acknowledging the other person as human, can make all the difference." And I know I've said it before, I always, like when I go grocery shopping or when I'm out to eat, industries like that, I know sometimes those people that work in those industries sometimes can have a really hard time. And like when I was traveling, there were some people that I saw were like super grumpy. And it's because of that, the employees that, are there for who knows how many hours, sometimes having to deal with that, just tell them thank you, give them the smile. And it could just make their day a little bit easier. So I definitely get that, why she likes to do that. So yes, this one's just really all about, keeping in mind what you can do to show God's love to a neighbor. And I've said it before, your neighbor is not like just a couple of people or the person that lives next door to you. It's whoever is in your vicinity with whatever you're doing, whether you're in a store, a restaurant, church, running, anything like that. Everyone that you could possibly come in contact with is a neighbor. So that's part of her faith step, is to think about who are your neighbors and what does it look like to move out of your comfort zone to extend hospitality to someone in your community. Good questions. Our inspirational quote is from Renato Canova. I'm probably butchering a whole bunch of the names in this book. Famed coach of many of the top distance runners in the world. "The secret is to make in your mind possible what is not possible before. The secret is to make easy what was difficult, instead to make difficult what really is easy." I love how this makes me think of how, I've seen the running quote. I don't know if someone specific said it, but you see it on, you know, little memes or whatever all the time. That what you find hard now will one day be your warm-up. And I know that's true for me. When I started running, a mile felt hard. You know, and 2 miles felt hard. And, you know, now when I'm short on time, I just go for 3 miles, and that seems so easy to me now, when just a mile 4 years ago felt so hard. So that's what that quote makes me think of. And our training note from Coach Sean is to find a running buddy that'll hold you accountable, do workouts with you, encourage you. And I've talked about my running buddy, or I really have more than one. You know, a group of us that we love to encourage each other in our goals. But the one girl that I like to run with, and she likes to do my long runs with me, which is so appreciated. I told her that I couldn't have accomplished what I've accomplished up to this point without her. So she will forever be in my heart as someone that has helped me achieve things that I would have never imagined I'd be able to do. And she said that she will go on those really, really long runs with me for marathon training. So I'm going to hold her to that. So it's Tuesday. I hope everyone's doing well. I know that really bad weather going through Texas was really scary, but from, I guess, what I've heard up to this point, I haven't watched any news today, but you know, there hasn't been any injuries as far as I know, which is good. But I've never been in that type of weather yet, and I hope I never am, but it sounded scary. So hopefully they can, whatever needs to be rebuilt can be rebuilt, and everything will be good. So I hope everyone's well, and I will see you tomorrow.